Hello and happy Sunday, everyone! It's time for more speedrunning action, like it is every Sunday. Man, I've definitely gotten into a rhythm with this. When I first started streaming, I wasn't sure, like, would I actually stream every Sunday? Would I just stream sometimes? How would this work? And now it's like, nope, Sunday at 3, time to get online, time to do some speedrunning. So that's been pretty nice. It's nice to have some routine in crazy times. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and get started with this actual speedrunning thing in, see if I can get all this set up. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh man, one of the funniest things about running this game is since I don't do any percent attempts between streams, the screen for any percent always leaves off where you quit out of the game, and for me that's always where my last speedrun died the week before. So it's always like kind of funny and kind of sad to get online and the first thing I see is just like, oh, I died on 10-1 last time, good to know. Oh boy. I'm hoping for a lot today though. Like, did a lot of time practicing yesterday to the point that my thumb started hurting and then I got nervous like, oh no, what if my thumb keeps hurting and I need to stream tomorrow? But thankfully thumb is fine again. It was just tired. Took a nap, or I guess went to bed. Not so much a nap if it's actually nighttime and you know that's when sleep normally happens, but it's all back to normal again today. One of the things that I hadn't thought about too much when I started speedrunning was just the fact that depending on how long my fingernails are, that changes like where there's pressure on my thumb, and like I have to kind of adjust for that depending on like how recently I've trimmed my fingernails, which is just like a really weird detail that I hadn't thought about with running. But like the point is you're putting pressure on your thumb, like that's where I'm mostly putting my weight on and like pushing down, so it makes sense that that would be a little bit weird. Oh hey East, good to see you, thanks for the positive vibes. Yo Paloxy, welcome back, it's good to see you again. Dude, I'm so sad about the fact that, like, have you figured out recording yet? I really want you to be back in this game recording, man. Like, oh, that was such a heartbreak to see on the Discord server. I really hope you can get that one sorted out. I know you're trying your iPad or something, so fingers crossed. Yeah, fingernails get wrecked. Dude, I know. Like, oh. Funnily enough, like, I would have thought, like, my base assumption about fingernails in gaming would have been that it would be better to have them short because your fingernail can get in the way of things, right? Like it kind of puts a stop on how far your finger can rotate, what you can do with it. But in actuality, I think that it's more comfortable for me to play with longer fingernails. And I think the reason is because when your fingernails are shorter and I press down with my thumb, my fingernail doesn't go all the way to the edge of my thumb, right? So it ends up like pushing into my skin because it's not far enough away to like get out of the pressure zone. Versus when I have longer nails, like my fingernail wraps around the button a bit, which is kind of weird, but at the same time, like it makes it so that there's no, like the pressure on the top part of my thumb is even. I have no idea if this makes any medical sense, by the way, it's so weird. But this is just my random observations from speedrunning with various nail lengths. Since I've gotten into like painting my nails more, that's been one of my quarantine hobbies. I've been like paying way more attention to how long my fingernails are, since it then dictates when I want to repaint them. I don't want to paint them when they're super long and then just have to take it all off again so I can trim them. Like, gotta time this out, gotta make it work. Alright, time to see how Bowser's feeling today. Oh, I tried to figure out a timing for this, but only half did it. I practiced every single level yesterday, so fingers crossed that that pays off to some degree. Alright, cool, let's make sure that we get the timer split. Need to listen for my bonus sound cue. That was actually pretty solid for World 1. I think really World 1 comes down to 1-2 and whether or not Bowser kills you, and both of those things went pretty well. You can record on your uncle's Discord? Is iPad or is Discord? But uploading it to YouTube results in an error. Oh no, that's really frustrating. Can you put it like through a video editing program or try uploading it to a different platform? Like if you just upload the video file to a Dropbox or something, can other people watch it from there? Like it doesn't have to be on YouTube, right? Fingers crossed that that works out. AFC Super Monkey Ball! That just makes me so happy to see that. Welcome. Oh man. Dude, I should play Super Monkey Ball again. I haven't actually played that game in a while. I feel like I normally see it during GDQ events and then just want to go try out random strategies that they did, and then I end up replaying it for a while, but it's been a while since the last GDQ, so I haven't quite picked it up in recent months. The next GDQ is coming up so soon though. Oh man, I'm so excited. First week in January is when the next GDQ event is on, and there's already just so many cool games and showcases that I'm excited to watch, so I'm looking forward to that. I like that GDQ is still happening, even if they've are online. I'm excited they managed to switch to an online format, and it gives me something to look forward to. Like, I feel lucky that I'm into video game events because those have been able to continue despite the pandemic, right? A lot of sports have struggled, a lot of in-person events have struggled, but since one of my favorite things to do is to watch video game tournaments, like that's been able to keep going. Like I think I mentioned before, Fall Guys is having a ton of tournaments right now. So spent yesterday watching Grand Pooh Bear's Fall Mania, which is a ton of fun. It's been nice. And then having those events makes me feel like stuff is still happening. Like I feel less lost. I have things to look forward to. It's kind of nice. All right, let's see if I can get this without having to use, oh no, gotta use my head. Oh, I haven't gotten that part consistent. That's one of the things that I want to workshop maybe this week. We'll see. Thankfully it's just not as deadly as the old strat was though, so maybe a little slower, definitely safer. Good way to go with this game. It is the iPad, you didn't know I said Discord. I wasn't sure if you were like doing a screen share in Discord and then recording that way or something. I don't know. Like I know I've done personal Skype or Discord things before just to like try to get video footage recorded before I like had something that could actually record my desktop. Like for work before, I've had to do videos of like walking through a service or walking through an experience that I've made. And I remember like the easiest way I could find to record my desktop without having to like buy an expensive program was to open up a single person like video meeting, share my screen in that meeting, and then the meeting program would record it for me so I could upload it later. Like it was so dumb, and you would think that there would be a better quality thing to do at like a large tech company, but no, that was just the way that everyone did it, and it worked great. Like, got the video out, everyone could see it, no problems whatsoever, but it was definitely weird. I did another video for work recently-ish, while working from home, and it went up a couple weeks ago. And it was kind of sad because just all the comments were, why is the screen resolution so bad? I can't see anything that's happening. And it's like, no. Like my screen resolution was fine, but the thing was we were recording using like a webcast thing. And so I think that in the process of it going from my screen, where it looked okay, to whoever was recording and running the show's screen, it might have gotten degraded a bit. Because this is before I upgraded my internet at all. And so like legitimately it is kind of hard to see things. And that's really frustrating because it's not like a just talking video where you don't have to be able to see the person's face in detail to still know what's happening. It was like a demo video of a website thing. So like if you can't read what I'm clicking on the website, the video kind of doesn't work. So that was pretty sad. Like I tried pretty hard on that video. Like I practiced for hours the day before trying to get a script set up and get everything sorted, make sure I covered a realistic scenario, but something that could be solved in like 10 minutes for a 10-minute video. And then it got recorded and it was like, well, at least I tried. I guess if we ever re-record it, like if enough people complain and they decide to re-record it, I'll at least have the script ready, I'll have the scenario, I understand how to do it, and at least the scenario, no one complained that it was unrealistic. I was definitely nervous since it's a service that I don't use, I just do certain parts of it. Yay! I was nervous that I wouldn't create a realistic enough scenario. Like I was afraid the YouTube comments were all just going to be like, oh, that's so unrealistic, no one has that problem, that's such a stupid error, but no one can see it. So maybe it is still a stupid error, but just no one can see that it's that bad. I don't know. Man, it was a bit sad, but that's okay. I'm actually, like, I'm really fortunate with the job that I have working at a large tech company. I'm actually off for the rest of the year at this point, and I'm actually taking the GDQ week off as well. So my last day at work for the year was Friday, and oh man, it feels so good today, just knowing that I don't have to get up tomorrow for work. Like normally Sundays, it's like, okay, I stream and then I relax, and then it's getting ready for work the next day. Like make sure my bag is set up when I was going into the office. And if not, like make sure my other computer is plugged in, like switch which mess of cables I've got on top of my desk to get the right screen set up. But today it's just like, nah, I can stay up late, I can sleep in tomorrow, it's gonna be awesome. Man, I'm so excited. I haven't decided what I'm doing this week either. Like, I feel like I should still get stuff done and be productive, because there are things I want to finish before the end of the year, but at the same time it's like, but I'm on vacation. What if I don't want to? So I'm trying to think, like, am I gonna try to read a bunch of books that I'm behind on in the year, like that I'd wanted to read, or am I gonna try to go really crazy on cleaning everything that I haven't cleaned in forever? I don't know. I've definitely gotten worse at cleaning specifically during the pandemic. Not like I forgot how to, which you'd think is kind of weird because with the pandemic you think you clean things more, but the trick is my motivation for getting my apartment cleaned up has always been having people over. Like I won't vacuum because it doesn't bother me too much, but then I'll have people coming over on Friday and I'll be like, oh my goodness, I need to vacuum. Oh hey, I'm locked out, welcome. But since no one can come over because there's a pandemic, like, I never need to clean anything because it doesn't bother me as much. Really, it's like, I don't mind, but I feel ashamed if my friends see my apartment the way it is sometimes. So that's been an unfortunate side effect. So I think maybe that's going to be a winner, is trying to like really go through and clean stuff so that I go, oh, I missed the jump. That's okay. So I go into the new year with like a nice clean apartment and everything put away. Like, I feel like having a fresh new start in the new year, like in the literal sense of everything is freshened up and like cleaned out, might be a nice way to go. Yay. Keeping. Nice. Thanks. I got the star jump really cleanly. I've been doing better at that, but missed just the end of it, which is okay. Alright. Are you gonna give me a mushroom? Like, normally, at the beginning of the second section, it's super easy to get the mushroom, but for one time on stream, like, it didn't come, and now that's just like a new thing I'm paranoid about, is like, but what if the mushroom doesn't come? And like, most of the time I don't need the mushroom, so it's not like it's the end of the run if it doesn't show up, but like, I want it though. It's nice safety. Come back. There we go. See, that's what's supposed to happen. There's one time though where it just went the other direction, or that particular Lakitu didn't throw it out, and I was so confused because that doesn't really happen. But again, the good news is with this one, you don't yeah. I panicked and second guessed whether or not that was the right place to run. You don't like need the mushroom. Like, you can see I didn't need to use it. I didn't come close to any of the fireballs, but it's one of those like, sometimes you kind of need it. Like, I don't know if you officially like ever get a pattern where you can't beat the level or you have to take damage, but you get close enough that it's scary. All right, splitting. Yay! It's kind of nice having that like super early time save in my run. Just the two, I think in the original run I'm running against, I had died twice on 3-1. So as long as I get through deathless, it's like bonus 30 seconds, here you go, free time save. Ah, man. I'm ready to drink water today. That's one of my other goals. I've got so many goals for today. I should stop setting too many goals. Well, like drinking more water, because last time I streamed, I realized I'd only gotten through half of my glass of water by the end of like a 3-hour stream, and it was like, well, that was a bad choice. My throat was hurting the next day, so I'm gonna try to do better on that. My other goal is to not die on 17-8, which is gonna be almost impossible. So practice for 17-8, like I've gotten my rhythm down. There we go, now that I'm thinking about 17-8, I'm panicking about other levels. I've like gotten a strat down that I really like, that's been working pretty well. I got through the level like 10 times in a row in practice without dying. But of course, as soon as I get to doing it in an actual run, I know I'm going to be 10 times as nervous and I'm just going to screw it up. So the goal for today is also to not die on 17-8, because that's my biggest time loss just ever. But if I were a gambling person, I would say it's only 50-50 that happens. Maybe even not that high. So we'll see. I have to make it to 17-8 first, so that'll take a little while. But I did like seriously try to practice yesterday to get more consistent in things. So the way that I practice if I'm trying to work on consistency is I'll do a level until I get it 2 times in a row without making a major mistake. And that helps. Like, I think when I was first learning the game, I would just practice until I got the level 1 time. But that's really not proving that you've got consistency on it. So trying to go until I've got 2 runs in a row that worked, and really I could bump it up to 3 if I want to even go harder on consistency, works pretty well. The other reason that helps is because it puts more pressure on me artificially. Like, if I'm doing a long level and I get the first run cleanly, well, now if I mess up the second run, I've got to start over from the first run again. So it like puts more pressure on me to do well the second time, and like artificially adds those nerves in, which I think is good for me to practice with those. How about 16-4? That one was a bit of a mess in practice. I still haven't tried to learn the Bowser helmet strat, or I haven't, I think I saw Arpitems, I don't know how to say their name. I saw Arpitems, I was just gonna keep screwing that name up. I saw the run where they like ducked underneath the Bowser, taking the damage boost, but I haven't tried to dissect or figure out like if that's consistent enough to put in. Oh, hey Toad, thanks for the good luck. Really? I know, it's probably one of the larger time saves that just I don't do in the run, but I've been trying so much on consistency. Like, for me, I think it was more worth focusing on consistency and trying not to die, especially practicing 17-8 for like a long time, as opposed to trying to learn a new strategy that honestly increases my risk of dying, I think. You just jump when Bowser. Yeah, but I need to practice that Philosophy. Like, I know that it seems straightforward, but it's one of those things where it's risky, right? Like, it's not a safe strategy. So for anyone who doesn't just have this game memorized off the top of their head, at the end of 16.4, there's a fight against Bowser. And for me, I get a fire flower. You get a Shelmet from the beginning of the level, but I get a fire flower and then kill him with fireballs by trying to get close to him so I can spam them more quickly. But there's a way when you have that Shelmet, if you're small Mario, to sort of go underneath Bowser as he jumps and get to the goal that way without having to fight him. And as Poloxy's pointing out, it is like a 30-second time save. The struggle, though, is that it's risky. If you lose that Shelmet, you don't have a good backup. You've got to go out of your way to get... I think at that point you have to get the Fire Flower. I don't remember... You might be able to get a backup Shelmet. I would have to go look at the level editor again. So it's risky. And there's like... You would want to be practiced... Oh, hi. You'd want to be practiced at it before realistically going for it. It's not something you just want to go for without having tried, I think. Personal opinion there. And so I still haven't like spent the time learning it, and so I'm not going to put it in the run. But that is at the top of my list of things that would be helpful to learn, because that Bowser fight is risky even the way that I do it, and it's not a fun one. I think in general my philosophy for Bowser fights is the faster you can end them, the safer you are. So taking the faster strat would be a good plan. All right, let me make sure I listen in on my splits. Listening into the song. Alright, 40 seconds, let's go. Deathless worlds 1 through 4. On to the next world. You found a more consistent way to go under? Oh, that's good. Is it the same as Arptem's, or do you have it written down anywhere? Or is there a video I can watch? I really should learn it. Oh man. That's one of the struggles with this game, is we don't really have a ton of guides for it, so if you want to learn things, the best way is usually to watch someone else's video and try to copy what they're doing, or to ask people for their help on things. But you know, it was not the friendliest game to start learning just because of that, but especially since when I started learning this game, we didn't have times for every single level. We only had, or videos for every single level. And so some of the levels, like, you kind of had to figure out your own way because no one had recorded anything. Or with the way this game works, people had recorded, but they'd only done the end of the game, which is perfectly valid, and there's great reasons to do that. But it means that you can't learn from the person who uploaded that time. So thankfully now with this game, we actually do have a video for every single level in any percent, which is amazing. That was only a few weeks ago that happened, I think, but it's been pretty cool. I as well am trying to like personally go through and do really good videos for every single level, since I have the ability to record nicely. Like, I feel like even if I have a time and I'm not improving on it, it's worth re-recording for the community to see if that makes it easier for anyone else to learn the strats. But yeah, there's definitely a bit of a learning curve, especially for some of the tricks that are less intuitive. I think it definitely helped that I had liked watching Mario Maker streams for a long time. So there's a number of tricks that I was able to pick up on because I'd heard streamers talking about them, or I'd heard streamers explain how they work, or because it's Mario Maker, there were lots of videos explaining different Kaizo tricks to sort of help you learn them, but not quite everything, right? There's a difference between learning a trick and then applying it to the game. That's what you do for every game you run, basically. Yeah. I mean, it works. There's a reason that that's the main strategy. Oh, example, when I wanted to start running Minecraft and 3DS, from 3DS, I just watched the world record video and spent a few hours finding as many time saves as I could. Nice. Okay, I'm confused by what the category N3DS is, though. Like, Minecraft, to my knowledge, never came out on the 3DS. It came out on, like, everything else, but I don't know about that. Like, I think it was on all the consoles. It was on... there was, like, a phone version that I played. That was there was, like, a phone version that came out. And if you had to pay for it if you wanted to save your world, and I didn't want to pay for it because I was, like, in high school. And so I built, like, this really cool underground temple thing. But I just had to leave my phone running so that I could keep working on it. And then, like, I spent... Oh, hi, P-Switch. I spent like an hour doing different like screenshots and videos of it to try to save it, since as soon as I went to a different app on my phone or like used it for anything else, it would get deleted. It was so sad. Like, oh. I did eventually get Minecraft for like my actual computer. Oh, that was slow. And it's still one of my favorite games to play. It's a great one. There we go. It did work really well. Oh, it did come out on new 3DS in 2027. Only 10 more, or not 10 more years. Only 7 more years. 2017 though, dang. I did not hear about that. I wouldn't have expected them to release it for this system, but I guess why not? I guess it really is on everything. Like, if there's a game you can play on your smart fridge, it's probably Minecraft. They went crazy making sure it was ported to different places. But it makes sense. It was such a, and is such a good game. Like, it's amazing how good that game is for just how kind of straightforward the concept is. I definitely like enjoy watching videos of like Minecraft things as well as playing it. That's one of those games where I keep wanting to play it again. I think right now with Minecraft I'm a bit in limbo though, because I started playing the game like way back. Not like on first release for sure, but I was still like a Mojang account instead of like a... Or it was still some other type of account. It wasn't like whatever the current account you're supposed to use is. And so right now I'm in the spot where I don't think I remember my password and I'm not even confident I've got the right username. Like I know my username is Charbunny, but Charbunny gets taken a lot. And so there's a question of like, how many underscores? Where are the underscores? Did capitalization matter? I don't remember. So I think that I'm at the point where I'm stuck because I can't remember exactly what my login is. And because it's such an old account, like I've got to go through a different support channel for it to like get it migrated over to the new type of account. And like, I think I emailed a support person about it one time but didn't hear back. Oh shoot, that was a split. Huh. So we're still about 35 to 45 or 35 to 40 seconds ahead. Sorry for missing it. Yeah, I was so in the middle of my Minecraft thoughts that just completely missed the ending sequence. Oh well. Well, let's see. Username difficulties. Yeah, okay, fine. Like the problem with Charbunny too is like I don't think many other people use it as like Charmander plus Bunny or Charizard plus Bunny, which is what I do. That's the reason I picked this name. But a bunch of people with names that start with CHAR, they'll use it like as theirs. So like Charlene Bunny is like, that's a thing that I think people will do. Or Charlotte, which is not my name. My name has nothing to do with the char part, but that's a thing. That's a thing that I think happens. So it's like, I think that most people aren't using the same combination that I am, but at the same time, like, doesn't really change the fact that it gets taken on a bunch of different things. Like, it can usually get something with it, like with enough underscores in the right spot, but I always forget, like, again, what did I do with it? What was my capitalization this time around? It did lead to a really, like, awkward / entertaining event one time where someone who was clearly someone's ex-boyfriend just sent me a series of desperate messages asking me to take them back. And it's like, they were all, like, addressed to Charlene as well. So it's like, I knew they weren't for me. I knew no one was trying to reach out to me, but it was so confusing. I think I responded to them one time saying like, hey, I'm sorry, but you know, this isn't her. You've got the wrong thing. And he just didn't believe me. He was like, no, I know it's you. Like, take me back. I've changed. And it was like, I can't tell if this is the most elaborate scam, if this is just someone with way too much time on their hands, or if it's legitimately someone's ex and like, they just gave out the wrong address or like mixed it up or something, or thought this was the right one. I don't know. It was weird. Definitely unusual, but thankfully like was harmless as well. So it wasn't like I got nervous, like, oh no, someone's stalking me. Like, it was pretty clear they weren't looking for me. Did you take him back? No, I did not. I think all I did was I told him, hey, you've got the wrong address. And then I stopped responding to anything. I figured at some point they'd give up, and they did. I didn't block them though. I don't know if I didn't know how to block people back then, or I just thought it was like, it was sad, but it was also like kind of entertaining. It was just like, so what is going on here? Like, it's weird to see half of a story, right? I'm like really curious. If I ever find this random mystery Charlene, I would absolutely love to know her perspective on this. Like, I would love to talk to her about like, okay, so who was this guy? Why did you guys break up? It's like, what went wrong with this relationship? But at the same time, Charlene sounds like she's over him, so it'd be a little rude to bring that one back into her life. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at the list of Minecraft releases. That's so many. Oh dang, that's a ridiculous number. On their leaderboards, do they distinguish by like all of the release versions or just by like the game versions? Because I know most of them are like Bedrock versus Java, if I remember correctly, about my small Minecraft speedrunning knowledge. Because I think Bedrock like Java was the one that I would have played. I don't think I played Bedrock. Oh, it's been a while. I feel like I would have had the Java version. I feel like I had the Java version just because at the time I was also learning computer science and we were learning in Java. Like, that was the first programming language I learned, so I was just excited that I knew what Java was in the first place. Like, I don't know, when I first learned computer science, anything computer science related was super exciting to me. I think the most trivially exciting thing that I've ever just been happy about because I understood it as a computer science thing was the sound test for Pokemon Pinball for Game Boy Color. And that was because the sound test, like a sound test in a video game is essentially just a menu where you can play any of the songs from the game. And like modern sound tests will usually just give you the name and maybe the track number. In old school though, I don't think it gave me the names. I think it was just the track numbers that you could pick from. But what was weird about it is the track numbers like weren't quite correct, because it would go from, like it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but then instead of going to 10, it would go to A, and then it would go A, B, C, D, E, F, and then it would suddenly go to 10. And as a kid, I was so confused. Like I had no idea why it was doing this. Like it made no sense. But after learning computer science, I realized that it was just counting in hexadecimal, which is, our number system is base 10, meaning it only goes up to 10. There's only 10 digits. Hexadecimal means there's 16 digits, which is why you also get A through F in addition to 0 through 9. And when I learned that and I suddenly realized, oh wait, it's not just random. That's why the Pokemon sound test is that way. It's counting in hex because it's old school computer stuff and it's easier for computers to count in like powers of 2. Oh man, my mind was so blown and I was so happy. Like I thought that was the coolest thing ever. It made me just love the sound test even more. I'm like definitely a big sound test in video games fan, but like that's probably my favorite sound test in existence. Not because the songs were amazing, like a couple of them I liked, but I'll come back. But just because I have that random fact now of, oh, it's in hexadecimal, that's why it looks weird, that's why the counting is all wrong. Haha, I know something. I definitely get proud of knowing things. Alright, I do need to remember to split this time. Listening for the music. There we go. Okay, so we gained some time back because I think at World 5 we were 35-40, so making progress, making some moves. Besides Apple TV, oh my goodness, if they put Minecraft on like Apple and Fire TV, that'd be so insane. Like I assume they'd have to let you connect a controller to it. Like Minecraft is not a game where I think you could play with a TV remote. Now I'm trying to figure out if you could play it with a TV remote. Like, how bad would that be? Like, you have directional buttons on a TV remote, right? Like, up, down, left, right. At least mine does. So I could, in theory, do movements. A lot of TV remotes will have numbers 1 through 9, which you could use for your item hotbar. So there's that. There's usually a select button. Maybe Minecraft is playable with a TV remote. Someone's probably done it already. Like, I'm sure someone out there has been like, oh, look what I can do. TV remote Minecraft, yay. But now I'm definitely curious. Like, how would that control scheme work? Oh, hey, Cypher. Good to see you. I'm so tempted. Like, I really want to go over and get my TV remote and start mapping this out, but it's on the other side of the room and I'm speedrunning and I can't take that break. Not worth the time loss. Yo, Holly Cat, hi. Oh, I'm waving back at you, but you can't see it because I don't have a camera. But I'm waving, just know that. Oh, man. I'm thinking about doing camera streams next year. Like this year, there's too much set up, but like maybe next year. I think the hardest part of it though is going to be the fact that with my stream time, the lighting changes so drastically because it's before sunset is when I start and usually after sunset is when I finish, especially like with winter right now. In summer, this wouldn't be an issue because it's light until like 9 p.m. here. But with winter, like I don't know how you'd set up lighting so that it would look okay, kind of, during the entire stream. I don't know, if anyone has thoughts on that, let me know. Like, the struggle is, if I set up, like, too faded of a light when I set up stream, so that the light is, like, balanced with the natural light coming in, then it'll be so dark by the time that, like, I finish the stream that it won't really work. And if I set it up so that it's good when the stream ends and, like, has brighter light, I think I'll look washed out at the start of the stream. Like, my skin's pretty pale, so it's gonna be a difficult problem to work with, but... Oh, I got the 1-up. I usually don't get the 1-up. But I'll try to figure it out. Like one thing I can do is just close all of my windows so that like there's no natural light coming in, but there's gonna still be some natural light coming in, and I really don't like the idea of making my living room just like pitch black on Sundays. Lights on timers? Ooh. I wonder if I could do that. I bet there's some way that if I connect them, like I do USB lights or something, I can have them dynamically adjust as it goes on. I like that idea. I will have to look and see if that's a feature anyone has. Smart thinking. Alright. I need to try to just do the ending of this level normally. This is one of those ones where, like, in practice, when there's no pressure, it's, like, not too hard to get. But then once I'm running, it's like, oh, now I'm gonna overthink this whole thing. Thankfully, it didn't happen this time. You're on your phone and the stream is only giving you audio when it's playing in background mode? Oh, that's interesting. That's an unusual feature, I guess. I don't know if you want to try, I don't know if you're on the app or if you're on the website. Maybe try restarting the app. But if you're in and out, that's also good too. Like, hope you're just having a good day. That's what I hope. I hope everyone's having a good Sunday. I think it's a nice day so far. Alright, 7-4. More Shelmets. World 7 is just so Shelmety. So when I run, I do have some notes on the side. And by notes on the side, I mean I have a second 3DS because I have my old 3DS. I have it open next to me. Oh, I got the jump, yay! So that I can keep track of what levels are coming up and try to remember what the first input is. Most levels, it's run and go to the right. A couple levels, it's get a power up or start swimming or, you know, something else. But it's, even though like the levels are there and I can see them, I sometimes still forget the beginning of them. Oh wait, I think that was a split. Yeah, that was a split. Hey, look, we're a minute ahead. This is great. So I keep wanting to do like a chart, and someone from the community, and I'm blanking on who, I think it was Manaretti, did an awesome chart to show like what all the levels are so that you could see which ones are coming up. You could sort of track it. It had the screenshots from the course select screen, which is one of the ways that I remember them. But the problem is I don't have a printer. Like, I used to have a printer. It was awesome. I got it like as a raffle prize during a computer science competition that was held by HP, which is a printer company, so that was cool. But the problem is, like, again, if I don't have a printer, it doesn't matter how cool of a visual they made, like, I can't quite use it. I could try to put it on screen, but with only a single monitor running, it's already pretty crowded between, like, making sure OBS is open and running, making sure my splits are visible, making sure any of my other notes are visible, making sure the stream is up, making sure I can see chat, like all of those things. So I don't know if I'd have room for it. I really would prefer to have it like next to me. But I don't know, I'm like at the point where I'm debating breaking out my colored pencils from elementary school and just trying to redraw the visuals so I can have it next to me. Because this is not quite working. Plus with the 3DS next to you, you have to remember to scroll. And so if I forget to scroll, then sometimes between levels I don't have enough time to scroll far enough to see what level I'm doing next. So that would, like, that's a bit of a struggle. With a single visual, whether printed or, you know, badly drawn, I would be able to see all of the levels. And so it'd be easier to not have to worry about, like, oh, did I scroll yet? If I don't need to look at, like, one of my problems is I don't need to look at it for the first 4 worlds generally. Sometimes I should, but I don't generally need to. It's the later worlds, it's like 16 and 17. It's really helpful to look at because I don't have those ones memorized. I don't have the order of those like fixed in my head. And so if I don't need it for the first 4 worlds, then I just forget to scroll because I'm not looking at it. Oh, this is being weird. I don't know why I'm feeling so weird about this jumps today. But then, like, again, if I'm not looking at it, not scrolling, and then by the time I get to World 6, it's like, oh, I need to scroll and look and the level starting, and I don't want to lose time by not having my hands on the game itself. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. I also definitely died on this level in practice once, so now I'm nervous about it today. That's a cool thing. Whee! Hitboxes. The sad thing is, like, if I hadn't panicked, I wouldn't have died either. It was on these little jumps. And 1, they're not that bad. And 2, if you miss them and you start to fall, you can jump out of the boot because there's enough space here that that's the end of the level. You don't need to be in the boot for any other reason. Most of the rest of the level, like if you lost the boot, you'd have to reset, but that last part is actually fine. Oh, it's the app. Restarting doesn't help. Yeah. You should do that with your other 3DS. Like, it is nice to have in a new tab. I could put in a new tab, but I don't want to have to deal with going to my mouse in between levels and like switching things out. Oh, and it's just happening to me, Hellycat. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I wonder if there's anything different about my setup. I'm definitely a very amateur streamer, so I don't know if there's anything I'm doing that's like bad or would cause Twitch to have problems. Oh, I'm sorry. Hopefully it goes away either this time or next time. Well, that was not perfect. You'd print the whole thing like in full color? I would want to. Like, that would be nice. It's a nice map. It's one of those things where I think like the color would help, right? The color for the levels, I know when I look at the screen, I'm just looking at the color blocks, right? Like, I'm not trying to look in detail and see what's going on. It's like I see the collection of coins in the middle and I notice that they're coins because they're yellow. So I think that it would be less effective if I tried to print it out not in full color. But again, no printer, so kind of a moot point. I could like I work at a place that has printers, of course, it's a tech company. So I could like go into the office and try to print it there, but one, that feels kind of weird because it's not really using the work printer for a work purpose. And then two, it's the middle of a pandemic. I'm not really supposed to be going into the office anyway, so it'd be kind of awkward. Like if someone stops and says, hey, why are you here? And it's like, I wanted to print off a level guide for a video game that I speedrun. Like that excuse isn't gonna fly. That's not a good enough reason to like go in and do something, so. Oh well. But like I said, I do own colored pencils. So if I at least like do a generic outline, not super detailed, and then put just like notes in Sharpie on top of that, that might work, right? Like most of the levels leave blank, and then the few levels that vary where I need to do something other than run to the right, maybe put some notes on those. Like have a code for get a block power up right above your head versus like get the Yoshi to the right side of you. Oh, I made the first 2 jumps just a little bit late on all of them, so carry through the end. Oh well. Oh shoot, water. I'll get that after I hit next. I put like a post-it note on my monitor too to remind me to get water this time. Like I'm trying to be even more obnoxious to myself about drinking water. It's gonna be a mess. Oh, spiky time. This will be fun. The beginning of this level is interesting because I usually use a timer cue to let me know when I should jump off. Like I'm not watching Mario, I'm watching the timer hit 294. And that's when I jump off. The struggle though is that it's not entirely consistent because depending on how good of a jump you get into the block at the start, that actually changes your height when you get to that point. And so like if you're really going for like a super clean run of this, you should be hitting the first block as far to the left as possible because that puts the vine as close to the top of the screen as possible as soon as possible, which means you can actually jump earlier than the 4 time at the end. But I usually look for 4 because it's safe, and so even when I'm doing this any percent, like it tends to be pretty safe. You just pass 8.5, no problem. I don't 8.5, if I do okay on it. I've struggled with it before, but like I've got just a couple strategies. For some reason, like that one jump, the one jump around the spikes in sort of the second half, it gets pretty consistent. I don't know why like I'm good at that jump and so bad at so many of the other jumps in this game. But 8.5 is one of those ones where I can definitely tunnel on it if I'm not careful, but that's not the ones I'm scared of, right? Like I'm scared of 14.2 and you, Flunksy I think is just like, yeah, 14.2 is fine. But 14.2 for me is like one of those ones where it's like, well, I'm dead. Oh, I need to split. Yay! Gaining slightly more time. 2 whole seconds, let's go. This is the section of or what am I trying to say? This is the section of my splits though where I'm unlikely to save a lot of time. Like I think 7 through 12 was pretty clean when I did my initial run for this, and so, we're gonna be here for a while, which is fine. So far so good though, it's been nice. What do we have next? 9-1, yeah. When I like talk to myself in between levels, it's because I'm looking over at my notes on the side that I was mentioning earlier. And for this one, it's like, okay, yeah, I can just chill. This is an auto-scroller start. And there's things that I do at the start of it, like I'm hugging the side of the screen so that this bullet bill launcher won't fire, because they don't fire if you're next to them. And then once this platform's in view, I jump off, and then the bullet bill almost always fires immediately because it's sort of been waiting for me to leave. I've been pinning it in, and as soon as it gets that chance to go, it's like, yep, my turn. So that's like my beginning of this level. Like that's the one strategy element I have. Then for here, it's just like whatever. With that though, if I do it consistently, this bullet bill that's on screen right now will always be right beneath me when I drop down, so I can always get just kind of a fun jump off of it for no good reason. And there's like so many small things this is why I feel bad that we don't have like better tutorials as a community. Because there's so many small things like that where if you don't know those, then you can't really pick from the video that like that's why I'm doing the thing that I'm doing, or that's why I'm using the strategies that I'm using. You play this game so academically, if that makes any sense. Are you having fun? Dude, I would not be doing this if I wasn't having fun. I hope everyone thinks I'm having fun with this. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm having fun. I do. Like, that's I think, reasonable way to describe it academically. But I think that's just how I like to approach things in general. I'm definitely I want to understand how it works. I want to understand how things move. I want to break things down so that I can see all the pieces. Like that's very much my personality style, is I want to understand everything. And especially when I was first learning this game, I learned the first level I did was 19.3, and it's because 19.3 is one of the levels in this game that has a built-in timer challenge. And so it made sense to try to beat it as quickly as possible. And one of the things that I realized somewhat early on with that was that if I changed it up and just kept trying to react to the level as I was going through it, as opposed to having a plan going in, I was just so much less consistent. Like once I was decided, okay, I'm always going to jump over this enemy, and I'm going to go under this one, and I'm going to get onto this platform, but I'm going to skip this one. Like I got so much better at that. It just became so much easier to do that level and to get the time that I wanted for it. And so that's sort of how I ended up approaching the rest of the game too. Oh, that was low. Is I really want to make sure I understand how everything works, and I want to have a plan. I don't just want to be running through the levels trying to react to what's happening. I want to have a route. I want to have a predefined route that I do the same every single time. And that doesn't always happen, I'll be honest. There's a couple levels that make me nervous because I don't have those and I tend to mess them up. So 17.7 is a really easy, straightforward level that makes me nervous because I don't have a consistent jump pattern for it. But it helps, then I can see myself getting better at it. I can see myself making these improvements. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, everyone does things a little differently, right? This is just my particular style. One of the things I've always loved about speedrunning, or like watching speedruns, is learning about how a game breaks down. Like I love it when speedrunners, as they're running, go into detail on like how the game works and how the mechanics play together and like the minutia of what's happening. And it's hard to do that fast enough to keep up with the game, especially in certain spots, but I find it so fascinating to learn about. And so like that's part of the reason why I wanted to get into speedrunning, was that I could take a game and get into it that way. And I specifically wanted to do one that was early enough on that there were still things to learn about it, right? Mario Maker's in a weird spot where there's not too much new to learn about Mario Maker as a whole. But there's a lot to learn about like this particular game and this particular set of levels, like some of the random things. Like the other, I laughed so hard. The other week when someone asked how Bowser worked, I ended up responding, like someone on Discord just asked randomly, hey, how does Bowser work? I can't find anything. And I was just like, you know, I might as well write down off the top of my head what I remember about him. It ended up being like 3 paragraphs long of text and like bullet points. It was like a ton. And I just remember Plonxy's first response was just like, Jesus. It made me laugh so hard. It was like, yeah, this is a lot. This was a lot for their question, which didn't even go into specifics on what they wanted to learn about. But that's like how I like to think about the game, is I want to know all of the different pieces of it. I want to understand how things work. I want to be able to explain to everyone why things are happening. That's something I love. Not just with video games, but about anything. Like, just too much fun to learn about things. I've always been someone, like, I love reading dumb books. So currently, one of the books that I have on my, like, coffee table is just a book about aquariums. I have no desire to get an aquarium. I think that would be terrible. They seem like a ton of work. They seem like not worth it to me at all. But it's kind of fun just to read about the different fish and like learn about how fish work and how aquariums work and the different things to think about with an aquarium. And like that sounds like the most boring, dry reading ever, I think, to a lot of people, but it's kind of fun. I get to learn things. I also like normal books too, so like don't worry. Love myself a good fantasy adventure, but I'm also at the same time 100% reading a book about aquariums, despite the fact that I do not want to ever own an aquarium. So that might go ways to explaining how I approach this game and why I think about it the way that I do. You made a whole essay. I mean, I think that you could have done the same thing. Like if all I did for like my description of how Bowser worked was go through all of the Bowser encounters I could think of in this game and write down the things that I could think about it for it. Like a lot of that stuff is not very crazy. Like Bowser shoots fireballs. Okay, people know that. Like he moves left and right. I know that it seems random because specifically there's one, I'm blanking on which level it is. It's the one with the Magic Koopas, 18-2, maybe 18-4. No, maybe 18-2. In that particular level, whenever I get to Bowser Jr., it's after a reset point, so it's like it shouldn't be affected by anything, but he randomly goes forward or back. So that's why I can make the assumption that it's random which direction he goes. Like, that's my reason for believing that, just going through and doing everything. Alley Cat, you're the same when it comes to science stuff you're interested in? I know, right? I loved science in school. It was so fun, like all of the different science. Physics was my favorite because you could touch the physics. Like, you can touch the biology because like you can poke yourself, I guess. But a lot of it was like mitochondria and stuff. Like I can't touch the mitochondria. That would be bad. That means my cell's broken, right? Oh, I'm going this way now. Hey, I did that first section right. And then with chemistry, like, you're really not supposed to touch the chemistry. Like, sometimes you can touch the chemistry, but that's few and far between. Please don't touch the chemistry. But with physics, you could touch all of the physics. Like, my poor brother. I remember after I learned about inertia and how inertia worked, on the way to school, every time I'd turn a corner in my car, I'd be like, the inertia, that's what we're feeling. That's why we feel like we're going this way. And he'd just be like, can you shut up and take me to school already? But it was so fun. Like, oh, I loved physics. Eventually, though, physics got to the point where you can't touch the physics with, like, quarks and magnetic fields and things. And I was like, okay, physics is less fun now. Back to computer science. But still, the physics is a fun one. Okay, I need to not do the IL strategy, because that would be bad. I did manage to get this, to tie the IL. Plongsi did an awesome job setting the record there, but that is not the strategy I want to use here. My new strategy is just to wait very patiently and hop off of those two characters. Oh man, that has made that much more consistent though, so I like that I've figured out something that makes me less scared of those jumps. Like the scariest part of this level for me was those two jumps around those dry bones. Just dry bones in general are not my favorite enemy, so the fact that if you're on the first like skull of this platform and you just don't touch your controller during that sequence, you will always bounce off of both of them and land back on the platform was amazing. Okay, I need to count correctly. This is 4. Because last time when I was running, I didn't count correctly, and that was a mistake. And then I died, and then I had to redo that section, which is sad. Okay, there we go, and now I need to split. World 9. By the way, when I go quiet is when, or it's gonna try to say, oh, a gold split, that's exciting. The reason I go quiet when I have to split, for anyone who's new, is because the way that I time my splits is by listening to that ending jingle and hitting it on what I decide is the last note of it. So that's why I go quiet there, is because I have to listen to the game audio to make sure I hit it at the right time and have accurate splits. Sorry, I'm like catching up on chat. I think I'm about behind. Tallycat, unfortunately, it doesn't work when I'm not interested in the thing. Oh, yeah. Like with history, I had a harder time like just diving into textbooks and reading about it. Like history, memorizing stuff was never my favorite, so. E-Space, you read through the history of McDonald's franchising and you don't even like McDonald's. Dude, I totally get that though. Yeah, random stuff too sometimes. It's just like interesting because there's a whole world you don't know about. I think the one for me where it becomes, oh, I made that was close, more of a struggle bus is when I know enough about it for it to not be super exciting and interesting anymore, but at the same time, like, there's still so much that I don't know that I actually have to pay attention. Like, that was history for me. You get the general idea of how history works after your first class, and then you just have to memorize all the details of things. There's stuff that I like learning about, but generally just memorizing stuff is not my forte. That's one of the reasons I love learning why things work, because if I know enough about why something happens, I don't have to memorize it anymore. Or if I know enough about why the transitions happen in the Krebs cycle or whatever, it makes it easier for me to remember the different parts of it and like be able to parrot those back. I cannot parrot those back, by the way. Like, it's been too long, but oh well. Oh, thanks, Palongsi, you're doing amazing. Keep it up, don't die. Classic Palongsi advice, don't die. Fingers crossed. The IL record. Dude, I know, depending on how that jump goes, I'm trying to be a bit more aggressive with actually sticking to the record strat as opposed to the backup one, but it's been iffy. Okay, this level, by the way, is super fun to go for the IL. I didn't think I was gonna get that. But also, just because like this first room is pretty much the hardest part, and then the rest of it is like kind of okay after that. But this is also one of the ones where like, if I tried to narrate all of the things that were going on in that first room, I think it'd be difficult to make it work. Like this room, pretty easy. You just kind of jump and then you want to hold after the second one to get up to the ceiling, and sometimes it doesn't work, and I haven't figured out why that's been less consistent lately, but it has. And then here you just want to not get hit. Like the first room in this one is what's hard, and I think that it's more fun to grind ILs when it's like that. Oh, I almost made it through without taking damage. That would have been cool. It's more fun to grind ILs when they're like that because it means that you reset early. Like you don't have to wait 30 seconds before you get to the part where you find out if you made it or not. Like you just, the first part of the level pretty much tells you how things are going. Oh man, more water. I think at this point I've redone all my ILs through World 10, so World 11 is next up. And I'm kind of avoiding starting it just because 11.1 is like so not my favorite level. But I'm sure like if I get into it, it's only gonna be, hour, hour and a half at most. And again, that's a nice one where the reset is mostly early. Like the ending part you can get more consistent. The beginning section is just the one on that level that for me is a mess. I also, when I redid the IL for this one, I did the stupid jump, which is fun. It's possible to finish this level without slowing down by doing an ascending jump off of that Sludge Bros, but it's RNG whether or not the Sludge Bro cooperates and sets up correctly so you can make that work. And it's still within the same in-game second, so it doesn't actually go any faster. But it looks cool if you get it. There's zero reason to go for it in a run, though. Like, it technically saves half a second, but, like, you are dying way more often than you're saving that half of a second. Oh, I need to remember to stretch. I just, like, sat back for a second, and my back was like, hey, good, you remember that you can move. And it's like, oh, okay, let's do random stretches. Maybe I can just do some stretches in this level. This level is pretty straightforward. This is one of the levels that I thought about, though, when I was thinking about how Bowser's work, though, because it's one of the few ones where he's on a rail and you, like, actually interact with him. Which makes sense. 11.1's just not my favorite level. It's coming up soon, so for anyone who doesn't know what 11.1 is, it's literally the next level, so you'll get to see it in all of its glory. Part of the reason why is because it involves Yoshi, and, like, Yoshi can be helpful, and then Yoshi can also be just not fun at all. And that level's an example of a not fun Yoshi section. You only use Yoshi for like 2 seconds too. So it's not even really a Yoshi level, but like still enough for me that it's like, dang it, Yoshi. Thankfully in this level he's nice because he gives you sort of a free extra life. One of the nice things about Yoshi is that, oh, I need to split. Again, so I'm going quiet because I'm listening to this ending jingle. I'm listening for that last note. Dead even. 120 still. 0 time lost or gained. Because Yoshi, unlike some other power-ups, is kind of free in that your momentum stops, but you don't have the game pause for half a second. Like when you get a mushroom, the game pauses for half a second, so you just lose a half a second every time you do that. But with Yoshi, you just lose all your momentum. And so in an auto-scroller where momentum doesn't matter because the screen is dictating your top speed, it's free to get Yoshi. And that's nice because on that level, then you just have a bonus hit lying around. You can make a mistake, get hit by a hammer or something, and you'll be fine. Okay, here comes the fun level. Yay. Okay, sorry, that was quiet. That first section, that first climb is literally the part of the level that's terrifying. The rest of it is kind of annoying. Like this section is a little awkward because you just sort of jump a whole bunch of times and then hopefully the springs take you to the top. Like there's gotta be a more consistent and fast way to do that section and I just don't know what it is. But like for the rest of the level you've got this shellmet and it's like there's just not a lot to worry about by comparison, compared to the first part of the level with those Yoshis, like the Yoshi jump and then the wall jumps and then all of that adventure. So yay, 11-1, nice and clean. The reason that it's going to be frustrating for a world record, though, is you have to do the first part cleanly, which it'll be fine. Like, I'll be able to get that. But then that middle section with those, like, trampolines, I have no idea what optimal looks like for that section. Like, do you wall jump quickly? Do you try to do small jumps so you can hit the trampolines correctly? Like, there's got to be a best way to do that. And I think it'd be good for any percent, too, to, like, actually go figure out what that is and get good at it, but that's the one part I'm not looking forward to. Like, the rest of World 11 won't be too bad. Well, actually, no, I take that back. 11.2 and 11.3 won't be hard for IL. Like, this one, I think I'll get close to IL on this run as long as I don't mess up. Just the beginning of it is really the part where you want to make sure you get the feather quickly. But then the rest of it is, like, just sort of a run and jump. Nothing too wild. 11.3 is not a scroller, so straightforward there. And then 11.4 is not straightforward. Like... you can get within a second of the world record using a reasonably sane strategy, but Pelancey's 11.4 is so ridiculous, where you have to do, like, I think a first frame twirl to get back up into a pipe so that you can reset your spin jump with an item. Like, it's a mess. It's really cool, but it's going to be a mess to learn, so we'll get there eventually. I'm not even going to pretend like I'm going to try to show that one on stream. It is also slower in real time. It's faster in real time to just do a specific shortcut. But that shortcut is also not super worth anymore. Like, I stopped going for it because I was too inconsistent at it. So this is an example of I just lost, you know, half a second getting that power up, but because you don't need this power up to finish this level, but it makes it safer. And this level just makes me nervous, so I get less nervous if I have the power up, and therefore I play better. It does create that awkward catch-22 where usually I don't need the power up if I get it, but I die if I don't get it. Like, that's definitely a thing that happens in this game. But I think it's partially just because, like, the mental game. Like, if I'm less nervous about making a mistake because I know that I can recover from it, I'm less likely to make a mistake because I'm more relaxed. I'm playing better. Like, kind of sad that that's how it works, but that is, I think. Nice spooky atmosphere. I wonder if there's any level in this game that's, like, more Christmas themed. Like, this level is kind of Halloween themed, right? Lots of spookiness, ghosts everywhere, lots of stuff in the background. I think the portrait one, like, wow, I don't remember which one that is, 9-2 maybe? That one's probably the most Halloween in this game. But I'm curious if, like, if I had to assign every level, or every holiday, a level from this game, which levels I'd pick. That is probably a really dumb waste of time that I'm probably going to do anyway. I definitely like sorting and organizing things. Like, sorting and organizing stuff is something that I find, like, weirdly fun. So trying to take a level in this game and, like, match it to a holiday would be, like, kind of a fun challenge. I'm curious what that would end up looking like. If you've got any ideas, let me know. I'd like to know what your official holiday to level map is for this game. Try to think for Christmas, because, like, you would think maybe a tree or something, and I think 3-2 has trees, but, like, they're definitely trees with vines. They're like palm trees, so it's not quite the same Christmassy feel. There's not a level with, like, lights. This game didn't really do lights or anything. Maybe it is just that one, because, like, you could say that there's a, the medal for that one, or one of them, is to hear the bird song, and if you go to the top of a tower, there's, like, a bird song sound effect. And so maybe that's close enough to, like, Partridge in a Pear Tree for it to be like holiday themed. I don't know. It's definitely a bit of a stretch. I'll have to give this one more thought. So this is the level, by the way, where you do, like, some crazy jumps up into pipes and then you just sort of spin on enemies the entire way through to get to the end with skipping this platform. And the shortcut is to instead take this platform to this diamond and jump off of the right side of the diamond. But that's also something where, even though it is recoverable, I haven't been very good at recovering it, and so a little safer to skip. It's also technically faster to do that wall jump if you do it fast enough. I usually don't do it fast enough, but it's fun to try anyway. Why not show that off a little bit? Oh shoot, that's the split again. Dang it. And okay, so we're pretty far ahead. We're at like a minute 25 and minute 30-ish. I specifically waited to go next until I had seen the time so I could get an idea, but World 11 split. I always forget that one. Oh well. I'll go back through and add them in later if I need to. Hey Papyrus, good to see you. Man, I always like wave at the screen, at chat when I say hi. Like if someone puts in an emoji with like a little wave in it, I always feel inclined to wave back, but I always forget that no one can see, so it doesn't matter. Like, and then I feel kind of ridiculous. But just know that if you put a waving emoji and I'm not in the middle of playing a level when I see it, I'm most likely waving back at you. As unnecessary as that is. Okay, I've practiced this. Fingers crossed I can get this. This is another level where just like, yep, there we go. I changed the spot I'm looking at to time my jump out of the Koopa Clown car to try to make this more consistent. And this level in particular, 12-1, has been one where it's really short and it's pretty straightforward, but I just missed that ending jump so many times. But I changed like where I'm looking at the screen to time when Mario does his jump and the way that my eyes are following him during that jump, and that seems to have made it much more consistent for me, so that's good news. All right. Now I just need to get through this one. Auto-scroller shooty time. Yay! And like small details. With this one, I just keep thinking about like how hard it might be to get started with this game. For this one, the first fireball out of there, I don't do anything. I just sort of let the car bounce normally. But the second one, I'll start tapping up to keep the car from going down too far, because the car will naturally fall, and if you don't do anything, you usually miss the second fireball. Like stuff like that would be great to put into a tutorial for people. But I don't know, if no one else thinks about the game like that, that may just be overwhelming for people too, so who knows? Could be a good idea, could be a bad idea. Oh, I just barely missed him. There we go. Just want to get rid of all the enemies. Don't want to have to worry about anything on this level. Go away. World 12? Yeah, I know. Oh my goodness. Oh, see, I'm too high because I'm trying to read chat now. Go away. This is fine. Like, really, what you do in this first part doesn't matter as long as you get a fire flower by the end. You don't even need this one, but you just want a fire flower eventually. You're gonna go play Geometry Dash, so don't be in chat much. That is a-okay. I hope Geometry Dash goes well. Or at least I assume that's what GD is standing for. It's always good to like be able to play games you like on a Sunday. Like, I don't know, Sunday is just a really solid day for gaming in my opinion. Relax, chill. There's stuff you're worried about on the weekend, you might have gotten it done by now. Most people don't schedule too many things because like everyone knows you got work the next day. Sunday's definitely like my prime gaming day. Not actual prime gaming, but just like good day for gaming. Oh, I got the cheap. I don't always get the cheap on the bottom. Sometimes it evades me. That is just too much. A novice player can easily beat this level. There's no need. I mean, it's one of those things where you can beat this level, but most of the time if I have like a logic chain like that, or there's something that I'm thinking about, it's because I've made a mistake over and over and I couldn't figure out why at first. And so once I figured out why, it means that I can play it more consistently. Like at first I just kept missing that fireball and I wanted to not miss the fireball. And so if anyone else is in the same spot where they're like missing that fireball and they don't understand why, it could help. Dude, that was a perfect Bowser fight. Oh, I'm so happy. That could help. Pro tip, spam Y. Oh my goodness. Yeah. This is not, this one, this is the one where I always want to split. Like I always forget to split on 11-4 and then I always want to split here because it's like a Bowser fight and a dramatic setting. Like, oh man. Thanks. I'm excited about that Bowser fight. That was a perfect 5-cycle Bowser fight. I usually don't get that. But he was nice and didn't throw any fireballs at me and that helps. What am I doing? Here we go. Like if Bowser doesn't throw any fireballs at you in that fight, that's pretty much perfect RNG. Like he can do whatever else he wants to, but if he's not throwing fireballs your way, you can be as close to him as you want and just keep spamming things. Hey, I got this one too! I know, I almost never get that one anymore. I got good at it when I was trying to do the IL and then just nope, never mind. Sorry, I'm only like half explaining stuff I'm talking about now because I'm like half focused on the game, half focused on random things I'm trying to do. This is my new slow strat, by the way, for this section, which is I don't want to die to those bloopers, and so I just go super slowly around them and I like make sure I kill them all off. Oh, come on, get in there. But honestly, that's cut down the number of deaths on this level by a lot, so still in the spot where I want to go for consistency over doing anything crazy. Yay. Alright, time for 12-4, the midpoint boss of this entire game. Yay! Also known as Mario Kart Mario Maker Edition. No one else calls it that, but that's what it's known as, just for the record. Gonna get some water to make sure I'm hydrated for all this lava coming up. Oh, sorry, I missed one. You wish you had work? Yeah, it can be. Don't die, thanks. Yeah, like it. I know that, like, so my mom's a teacher, but she didn't teach this year because COVID and her school's protocols weren't looking super safe. Like, she's not like old, but she's definitely not in the population that's just like can brush off COVID. Not that any population really can, but it was going to be riskier for her. And so this is like the first year that she just didn't do teaching. And I remember like she was, oh no. She was having a really rough time of it. Like it was making her pretty sad. Like she was definitely down. I could hear it when I called her. I tried to call her more often. Is it ever looking safe? No. Listening for my split. Oh, that was a gold split for World 12. Yes, I'm getting better at that world. World 12 is usually the bane of my existence. But I remember that like for her, suddenly not working in the middle of like, and being stuck at home, not being able to go anywhere was like really, really rough. So I was kind of lucky that, you know, my job can be done from home. Like not only did I still have a job, I didn't lose my job, but it could be done from home so I could stay safe. And on top of that, like it gave me something to do. Like I still had a reason to get up on time in the morning and like get stuff done. Man, the thumbnail for 13-1 always throws me off because it does not match with how I think about the level. Like most of the level is in this setting, and so I think about it as this like fiery pit. This is where the level screenshot comes from, and it's so annoying because I always mix the screenshot up with the one from 11-1. But yeah, no, I'm super fortunate with COVID, like with the job that I have, with the role that I have so much flexibility, I have so much independence as well. Like there's been a lot of frustrating things, but like that's mostly worked out. Can I get through here? All right, so I don't normally do this with the propeller. I wonder how that's gonna affect things. Oh, we're back on track. Oh, that's fine. That should have been fast enough. Yes, it was fast enough. Made it. Okay, sorry, the bottom section of this level freaks me out every time. Oh man, okay. I was about ready to split there too. Like anytime I hear the axe in that theme song, I like get ready to split. It's like, wait, that's not correct. Oops. Oh my goodness. Oh, thanks, Hallycat. Thanks, Pelongsi. Oh man. And now we get the waiting level. When I say I practiced all levels, I even practiced this level as much as it's the least fun level to practice. Just because like, technically I've messed it up before with like when I do the jump over the fire bar. Like the only part of this first section that I optimize is when I jump over this fire jet. Because depending on when you do that, that affects I think just exactly one of the platform spawns on the right. And so if you time this correctly, you can get specifically this platform right there to spawn in time so that it immediately picks the P-switch up. Like that's the entire reason why I'm standing in that spot the whole time. That's like really one of the only things I do to optimize this level. The only other one I think is here. You don't want to go all the way to the right, otherwise the cycle on the thing up here, like the platform at the top of the screen, will be off and you'll miss the first cycle of it. But since I waited a little bit, it's fine, can make it in one go. I have a Monty Mole following me, which makes me nervous because I've had the Monty Mole before. Or sorry, no, that's not a Monty. Is that one a Monty Mole? I think it is, huh? I've had it come out and like get on top of these note blocks, come down over Bowser and kill me. Like it was so frustrating to get to the very end of this stupidly long level and then have a random enemy that almost never even makes it this far come out and kill me from the skies. Like, oh, that was so frustrating. So I'm now much more careful with the end. And if I see a mole make it that far, like I try to go kill it myself. Like I try to go get the note blocks involved. I try to trigger the thwomps, just something to get it off the screen because it makes me nervous. Oh boy. That wasn't the right jump. I sometimes mix up when I want to do each type of jump here. So like in order to land on some of these platforms, that first jump, I get more consistently as a spin jump than it's not. But if I do the spin jump at the wrong spot, then obviously that doesn't quite help. Whee! The rest of this level is just kind of there. Get the optional 1-up mushroom, because why not? We only have 63 lives, so who knows, we might need 64. Better get more 1-ups. This game is so fun. It's so ridiculous, but it's so fun. But to your other question was, I have so much fun playing this one. Like, I'm definitely a platforming sort of genre person in general. Like, I love platforming games. Those are always my favorite ones when they come out. Like, usually prefer 2D over 3D as well, but like, I'm happy with 3D platformers too. So to like, have such a fun platforming game is always amazing. And on top of that, the part of platforming games that I usually don't like is waiting for enemies. But when you're speedrunning, you find every way possible to avoid waiting for enemies. Like, all of the waiting gets taken out of it. Like, of course there's some waiting here, but like compared to playing the platformer normally, like there's less waiting than there would be otherwise. And so like, this is definitely exactly the sort of game that I find super duper fun. Like, there's a reason that I picked this one to speedrun as opposed to like other games. Making sure I just don't get hit here. I do have like my safety mushroom on this one, so if I get hit, it's not the end of the world. I can get a mushroom back over here as well. But again, it's just that half-second time loss, so if I can avoid getting hit, that's definitely better. Usually if I get hit, it's in this half because I get super impatient with the buzzy beetles. That's one of the disadvantages though of like, in speedrunning sometimes you do have to be patient to like do things safely, whereas in the real game I could just damage boost and like not care. And like, yeah, definitely get impatient with this section in particular. There it is, yep, figured it would happen. Oh well, only one damage boost isn't too bad for this level in particular. And then it's just waiting right here, and ta-da. I don't know, like I think there's enough things in this game that would be nice to explain, but the effort of putting together a solid tutorial is so intimidating. Like, just there's so many small things to talk about. I would want to do comparisons to explain why you should do one thing versus the other. Like, I would go way too much into detail. Maybe it'd just be too overwhelming. I don't know, maybe I'll try that next year sometime. What is 12? Okay, 12-5. 13. Whatever level this is a jump up and get the power up one. That's the important part. Oh man. So I feel like I'm so focused on my gameplay today. Normally I'm a little bit more casual about it, but I think because I practiced all of the levels yesterday, like I have so much in my head of like, okay, this is what I messed up in practice, so I want to make sure I do it this way. And then, you know, in practice I did this really well, let's do it again today. Like I'm just thinking about the levels more than I think I normally would. But yay, that level's done. All right, 13.6. What do we got coming up? Oh, lots of saw blades. Fun. Oh, I didn't do as like. I definitely did more practice yesterday, and then today I was too worried that I'd like get my thumb to be hurting again if I did too much this morning. But instead, I put up the rest of my Christmas lights, which was kind of a fun thing. So like for some reason, I think as I was intending to give them to a friend and then I didn't. I had an entire bonus set of Christmas lights just sitting in my desk at work. And normally I wouldn't put them up in my house, but I accidentally only bought half as many Christmas lights as I needed to go around my porch. I think I talked about this last week. So like only half of my tiny balcony is covered in lights. Oh, that was so close to the saw. Scary. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because now I'm like, okay, gotta get these jumps to work. Like I was good at these jumps for a while and then I was bad at them and now hopefully I'm bad at them again, or good at them again. Wolves. No jump! Yay! Fast Bowser. And now I actually have to split. I'll get back to my Christmas light story in a second. We've got an auto-scroller coming up, so I'll have plenty of time. Do tab next with your thumb? No, if you're talking about like splits, I'm not sure exactly Plonksy what you're talking about. For splits, I hit spacebar with just my fingers. But when I practiced, I was like, my thumb was hurting yesterday, and so I didn't want to practice too much this morning and have it hurt while I was trying to stream. Do you tab next with your thumb? Oh, like next on the screen, I use the stylus. I actually I have the stylus always in my right hand as I'm playing, and then I switch it so that I'm using that to actually type the screen itself. Like I'm not as fast at mashing, especially like, since it feels inconsistent depending on, again, fingernails and how long they are, I always use the stylus to mash next. Like, that's something that for some reason, some game, I swear I had to practice, like, rapid fire screen mashing with a stylus. And since I have that skill, I might as well use it for this game. Yeah, it's kind of awkward because then I'm just holding a stylus in my hand the whole time, which is slightly uncomfortable, but it works. But back to the lights. Basically, I had an extra set of lights at work because one of my friends is really into Christmas lights, and so I thought I'd get them for her, like, as a fun gift. But then I don't know if I forgot to give them to her or like she switched teams. Like one of those two things happened first. And so I suddenly remembered this week that I still had them because when I went to Target to buy my lights, I underestimated how long I would need or how many lights I would need to cover my little balcony. And so when I put it up, I only had half of a string of lights to really cover everything. That didn't quite work. And the good news is like from my desk where I'm sitting right now, it covered everything I could see out my window. So like it was nice. But I still felt awkward about the fact that I was missing them. So I did go and get those to my work desk this week, and I put those up outside today, which was kind of fun. Like it meant that I could do a bit more drapiness with the lights, like I could make them go a bit more looped than before, where I just sort of pulled them tight so I could cover as much of the balcony as possible. But they are different colors, kind of, and one of them blinks and one doesn't, and the wire for one is green and the wire for the other one is white, so I don't know how it looks in the dark yet because I can't see the other half of it from where I'm sitting now, but that'll be kind of fun to go look at later. Like that was one of my morning activities for today. The other one is like I actually got up and exercised, which I don't normally do. But interestingly, when I got my world record, I exercised that morning and now I'm like paranoid, like superstitious, I guess is the right word. Like, well, maybe that'll make me do good again. Maybe I should always exercise before a stream. So I did some Pump It Up, but I don't actually own Pump It Up, so I just watched YouTube videos and like moved my feet in time with it this morning, which was good. Like, I think it's nice to do exercise in the morning because then I like feel good about myself for the rest of the day. Like, oh, I did a good thing. I did one good thing for my body. I feel so healthy, even though like I'm definitely eating junk food for dinner. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm having leftover pizza. But I exercised this morning, so it's okay. It all works out. I'm still, air quotes, healthy overall, I'm sure. Oh man. One of the things that's been interesting about being stuck at home in quarantine though is I have actually lost weight, but I'm like only half convinced it's a good thing. Because it could be because I don't eat lunch at work and work lunches are a little bit less healthy than like my snacks, I think. But the other thing is I just stopped playing tennis, and so I'm pretty sure I just am now like really wimpy, and that's the other reason why. Like I'm kind of nervous for when tennis comes back. Like, will I actually still be able to hit a forehand? The jury is still out. We will have to see. But tennis, I don't know how long it's going to take to come back. We'll see. It was back for a bit, but then they took it away again. That was not an interesting story, sorry. They had it, and then they didn't. Oh no, this is bad. Okay. I have to be... Oh shoot. No! Dang it. Oh, that's a death. Oh, hey, I think that's my first one, though. Okay. This, like... I'm just gonna get this, too. This section, like, the spots where the crushers are at, they retract when you're going toward them. And so if you miss that first jump, then the crusher that you're used to being retracted is not. I'll just do this instead. We'll just do... No, this was a bad idea. But this time I have my safety mushroom. Like, that one there is normally retracted, and so it's normally fine no matter what you do. But if it's not, then that can be a problem. So we just pretended like I knew what was going on there. Oh, loop. I don't know how everyone else pronounces loop in their head, but I always love, like, may I have some loops, brother? Oh, man. Any motivational tips on when exercise feels like too much effort? I wish. Exercise, it can be hard, like, especially at the pandemic. I feel like it's hard to find motivation to do a lot of different things. The best tip I think I've heard is just to, like, do something. So, like, if you want to go jogging, but you feel like jogging is going to be too much, or you want to go for a walk, but you feel like going on a walk is too much work, just go put your shoes on. Like, you don't have to actually go on the walk, just put your shoes on. And the idea is that one, is like you, oh, I want this. I don't know if that mushroom's, it came with me. The idea is that one, it sort of helps you unblock yourself. Like for me, putting on my shoes, it's like, oh, if I want to go on a walk, I've got to put on my shoes and put on like a t-shirt or whatever. Most of the time I'm already wearing a t-shirt, so that's kind of a moot point. But like just doing, you know, one small thing toward that is sort of the advice that I've gotten before. So like for me, if with dance games, like that's the way I like to exercise. It's like at least stopping watching whatever I'm watching on my TV instead. Like just at least go to searching a dance song. And then sometimes if I'm not feeling up to like actually doing a full dance song with all the jumping and everything, like one, I can pick different songs that are slower that are less effort, so I can sort of like take a break. Or for dance games, I will sit on my couch and just tap out the steps with my feet or with my hands even. And at least then I'm moving a little bit. Like it's not really exercise, but there's some movement happening, so I'm not just sitting still. And that helps me a bit. You panicked when you moved to jump across. I know. I should have been more careful with the end of that one. If I had done a full jump like and not hesitated, I think it would have been fine. But I definitely was panicking on that. But oh well. Okay. Oh, the Goomba went the other way. That's a little frustrating. Okay, we're good. Normally that Goomba comes back toward me so I can take him out before this section, because for this section I just want to be walking on the right side of the screen. I don't want to deal with anything else. Yeah, so how I can for exercise, like the things I've heard are just try to do a small thing if you can't do a large thing. For me, like the whole reward yourself afterward thing doesn't work because I just don't want to do it enough. Like I usually don't give myself a good enough reward, or if the reward is good enough, I just get it anyway without doing the exercise. So like the whole, oh, then I'll have ice cream afterward doesn't really work for me. If I wanted ice cream, I would have just had it. No, I don't have that much self-control. But doing a small thing, just like doing something to get you started has worked out better for me than other things. So maybe that'll work for you too. All right, at the end of this level. Oh, I normally jump over these. Let's make sure I do the same thing I normally do. That one right there is the scary one just because there's that floating invisible box. And so I'm always worried I'm gonna jump into that and then get hit. But again, thankfully, this level gives you free mushrooms. And so you get those free extra hits to deal with. Okay, that is the end of a world? 14? Yeah, okay, time to split. Lost some time. Darn death. It unfortunately was the death at the end of a section too, so it's a bit longer than like dying right at the start. But oh well, we're still a minute and a half ahead. Not too bad. Keep this going. Same, you cheat the reward system all the time. I know, right? It's too easy. Aw, thanks to you too. Always happy to answer questions and help out. Yeah, I find it way too easy to either cheat the reward system or not care about it enough that I just don't do anything. Like, one of the things I'm trying to get better at is recognizing when I'm legitimately not going to do something and giving up on doing it. And that sounds like counterintuitive, but the reason that's important is like, there have definitely been times where I'm like, oh, I need to exercise today. And I shouldn't do this fun thing until I've exercised, or I shouldn't do this other productive thing. Oh, come back, Yoshi, thanks. Until I've done exercising. Like there's that tip of like, do the worst thing first so that you get it out of the way, right? That one does not work very well for me, I found, because then I just don't want to do that thing, but then I don't get anything else done because I'm just waiting to start that one thing. This happens to me a lot at work, where like, if there's a spec that I don't want to do, I'll just sit there all day going like, oh, I need to do this. I shouldn't work on any. Oh, damn. That was not even close to high enough of a jump. That's another death, and that's another slow one. Darn it. It's like I'm not even close to getting this done. Like, I don't want to do this other less important thing because I know the most important thing to do is to get this spec done, even though I'd rather do this other thing. Like, I don't want to start on it. I need to get this done. But then, like, oh my goodness, this is a interesting level today. But then I just don't have to get anything done that day. And it's like, well, that wasn't productive. Like, I'm trying to get better at recognizing, you know what? I'm really not going to be able to do this important thing today, but if I get these other 3 unimportant things done, then that will clear out my day for tomorrow too, so that tomorrow when I've got more energy, when I'm feeling more up to it, I'll be good to go. All right, let's try this jump a little bit more carefully this time. Yep, there we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. I don't know if I just jumped too early on the left side or if I just didn't get the flutter from Yoshi at the right time, but dang. That's at the end of 15-1. Like, I definitely am not super consistent at that, and those hurt. But we're probably still pretty far ahead. And again, one of my goals of my 20 goals for today is to just get 17-8 to work, so we'll see how that goes. Hi, Rocky Wrenches. Let's see to like, oh man, I'm so excited to like, again, not just have work things, because those have been hanging over my head. Like, this last week at work was really rough. Not because like stuff was crazy and, you know, people were running around doing wild things. It's just no one was there. And one of the things that I really like when I'm like doing things or working is collaboration. I like working with people on things. I can do stuff on my own. I'm a pretty independent sort of person. But at the same time, if like you have an idea, you have no one to share it with, or you have a challenge and you've got no one to talk to about it, like it gets pretty lonely. And so that was a struggle for sure for me this last week with like a lot of people, especially at like my company, will be out for just like the majority of December because they have a bunch of vacation days that they didn't use. And it was worse this year than other years too, because no one had any real reason to travel. You couldn't go anywhere. And so a lot of people just didn't take vacation days. Well, the problem is if you have a certain number, you start losing them. Like, you can only carry over a certain amount of weeks of vacation before you lose it all, or you lose the rest at least. And so a lot of the more senior people were just kind of gone for the entire month of December, which meant that like, as one of the more junior people, there just wasn't anyone there to work with. Like if I wanted to make progress on something, it was like, well, I guess I just wait till they get back. And it made everything feel so unimportant. Like, it didn't feel like it was important to work on anything. Oh, okay, this is not my best Bowser Jr. fight, but we didn't die, and so that makes it a good Bowser Jr. fight. So it was like rough to feel like there was any pressure or anything. Oh, you're the total opposite, would rather work on your own? Yeah, it's always fun to see how people are different. For me, part of it's like that external accountability. Like, if I know someone needs something from me, then I'm gonna get it done. If no one needs something from me, then like, I can wait till next year, it's fine. Like, I definitely get motivated from helping people. Not to the point where like I go volunteer all of my free time at like, you know, food banks or anything, but to the point where one of the things that make me happy are like when I give someone else something that they need or that helps them do their job. Like, that makes me pretty happy. Like, you may notice that when I probably sound happy when people ask me questions because it's like, oh, I can answer a question. This is awesome. Like, I love doing that. But when no one's there to help, then it's a lot emptier. It's kind of just sad and lonely. And especially with the pandemic. Like, normally, if I was still going into the office this time of year, there'd be a couple people left. Like, I wouldn't be the last one to leave. And so you kind of have this like mini bonding moment with the other people who are also just like in the empty office, where you'll start taking longer lunch breaks and just chatting and things like that. And those do stress me out to some extent, but it's still fun. Like, it's still something. There's something going on. And like right now when it's like, not only is there nothing happening in my house, because like it's just me, and I think there's the bunnies and they're super cute. But when there's nothing happening online either, it's like, well, nothing feels very important to work on. Like, it doesn't feel like anything has to be done right now. So I guess it'll just all wait. Okay. I'm like nervous for this level now because in practice I was missing that second jump quite a bit. Not to the point where I'm not going for it, still gonna go for it. But we could lose a solid 30 to 45 seconds if I miss it, so fingers crossed. Maybe I should just not do it since this is actually a good run, but it's so cool looking. Like, this is, I think, by far the coolest looking strat in the whole game. It's just also ridiculous. Okay. I also have a new strategy for this one. When I was practicing, I literally watched my fingers hitting the buttons because I was just completely messing it up. So, wish me luck. Here we go. Oh my goodness, just a little bit too far to the left. I at least did have my fingers at the right time though, so that's good. We should probably just go through it this time though to not waste more time. Still gonna get a mushroom for safety. I don't remember how much of a time save it is, but we're on a good pace. I kind of want to keep it, so we'll just do the normal route where you don't do anything here. Sad. Especially like that one I didn't miss by a lot, so you'd think it'd be easier to retry, but if I don't miss it by a lot, it's actually harder for me to retry because I don't know what to change the next time. Like I find it easier to redo this trick if I like completely mess it up, because then I know exactly what I did and what I should change the next time going through. But with the very small miss I made, like I was just a bit off, and that is an unusual way for me to miss it. It's like I'm not super clear on what I'm supposed to do to fix it, so yeah, it's too inconsistent. I don't know, like for a while, like for a couple months, I had that one down. Like I never missed that one, or if I missed it, it was like 1 out of 10. And then recently, like I've lost it all of a sudden. It's like, where did this go? Why can I no longer do that one trick out of this whole game? Like, I don't know. I feel like that's sometimes the thing where like sometimes I'll have a trick that like I've got it down, and then other times it's like, never mind, somehow it vanished. Oh, we're behind now too. Darn, that's okay. It's not by too much. That was not a good World 15 though. World 12 is usually my, well, World 17 is my worst world just because of 17-8. Usually World 12 is my second one where it's like that one is gonna kill me if anything, but World 15 is third. Like if I ranked the worlds in amount of time lost that I would get on average from it, it would be World 17 just because of 17-8, then World 12, and then World 15. Like those are my 3 worst worlds in this entire game. So we'll definitely need to go back and practice World 15 a bit more. Just unfortunate long deaths too. It just wasn't the short ones. But oh, I have to increment. That was 3, I think. I don't think I missed any other ones. So I think we're up to 3 deaths. All right, 16. Let's go. Donut blocks. Everyone's favorite part of Mario Maker. This one's funny because if you get like a specific jump, this section goes by so fast, and if you don't, you're just constantly on the wrong side of those donut blocks. We're gonna do a full jump there because I don't know if I cleared that otherwise. Right now we just wait for these fun friends. Small bounces, large bounce, large bounce. Oh my goodness. Maybe it'd be better if I didn't stream so everyone can hear how silly I sound when I narrate the level to myself. Oh well, that's okay. It's part of this game for me. Time for the rest of 16. I'm like, I keep looking at these levels going, okay, this is fine, this is fine. Really, like, I'm already nervous about 17-8. Like, I'm just pre-nervous for that level, and I need to not be. Because there's no reason to be nervous on this level, but now I'm nervous on this level because I can't get 17-8 out of my head. Like, 17-8 is just such a demon for me right now, because I'm hoping that today is the day that I defeat this demon, and I get a good, clean 17-8 run, and then it can become a normal level again, and it won't have this, like, weird boss evil status in my head, but we'll have to see. Oh, come on, Pelongsi. Yeah, easy. Thanks. That's a helpful comment to make right now. That's like even less helpful than don't die. Come on, dude. Alright, 16-3. I just need to remember to spin to win. Lots of spins. By the way, like, you do not actually have to spin on this level. The only reason I do it is because it made all of these jumps really consistent for me. The spots when I'm not spinning are the spots where I'm most likely to die, just like FYI. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 16-4 is next. Oh, this will be fun. So, 16-4 is the one to worry about? Kind of. Yeah, kind of. Like, I don't know. It's just the Bowser fight. Like you said, like, if I'd learned the other strat, maybe it's better, but it just comes down to the Bowser fight for me. I wonder if I can get this jump. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, nope. Completely missed it. This first jump was, like, throwing me off in practice the other day, too, so this may take a second. There we go. Like, that's one of those things where if you ground pound, you get a slight bit of extra height on your jump, and that's why that works. But you have to get the timing pretty well. I haven't timed, like, I know that the current record does a wall jump in this room, but I haven't looked to see, like, how that actually goes. The record for this level looks awesome, by the way. Like, if you're interested in checking out really fast, like, what this level looks like when it's done really fast, that's an awesome resource. Oh, okay. That was absolutely terrifying. I, like, literally jumped in my chair when I missed that jump. I thought I hit jump. I don't know what I missed to make that not happen. Oh, because I have a consistent setup to get to the piranha plants and do the spin jump on time, but like, Oh, I also messed up in practice by not throwing that POW and running into the munchers. And then I lost my shellmet and I had to do backup Yoshi strats, which was not ideal. But, oh well, we got Yoshi, so this should be fine. Okay. I also, last week, I think, completely messed this level up by not getting the bomb to go into the pipe. I did find out between now and then that there is a backup way to get the bomb to respawn in that room. So, there's like a, if I mess that up again, I do actually know what to do this time and it won't just be panic as I look around. But instead, we're going to be super careful about dropping it down so I don't have to worry about that. Watching the Sludge Bros. There we go. Bowser fight time. Let's do this. Ah, dang it. We're just gonna do a slow Bowser fight. Oh, Bowser came toward us. That's gonna make this faster. This is actually super lucky. Thanks, Bowser. Hey, that was not too bad at all. Alright, Bowser fight finished. Let's get moving. Oh, we're gonna be back ahead again, too. Oh, gold split! What's up? That's exciting. Dude, 40 seconds ahead. I didn't realize I lost that much time in World 16 last time around. Oh well, time for World 17 though, so you know things are about to get spicy. Triple jump, wall jump. Like, is that faster? I didn't actually time it out. Like, it feels like it's slow because of how much horizontal movement you do on a vertical section of the level, but I don't know. I want to like learn it and go time it and see. But like that, the aisle for that looked really, really clean. It was impressive to watch. Okay, 17-1. Ah, this is 17-1. Oh, I was like, oh, I got 100 lives. Of course I've got 100 lives. Anytime you're past World 16, you've got 100 lives as long as you didn't die on 16-4. Because 16, can't remember if it's 2 or 3, just gives you like infinite lives, basically. As long as you do the star part correctly, which usually is fine. Okay, this was also giving me trouble in practice. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, tiny jump. Yes, first try. Oh, and then I can't drop the spring correctly. Oh my goodness, come on, let me over. There we go. Well, it was still faster than if I'd missed the jumps, so I'll take that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yay. You found it is faster? Okay. IGT tells you easily there's no need. Oh, good point. Good point. You know, for like timing stuff out in in-game time, it's always like a little bit difficult depending on when the pipe transitions are. Like, if pipe transitions are really tight, it's really easy to see if you're on a good pace because like you can tell if you made or missed that boundary, but depending on where they're at, it can be a little bit tricky. All right, 17-2. Let's do this. Yeah, like with this game, it's such a balancing act of like, what do I want to do like during the week? Like the nice thing is, because I just stream on Sundays, I know every Sunday I'm gonna do full runs of this game and try to get records. Like, that's my strategy. That's what I'm up to. But for like the other days, it's a mix of like, do I just practice things, which is what oh, come on. I may need to wait for this. Do I just practice things so that like I get better at certain tricks? Or I get more consistent at stuff? Do I like try to learn new tech, new tricks so that I can like get faster? Do I try to do ILs so I can have all those IL times uploaded and like practice that way? Like there's so many different options on what to do and it's like, okay, which one's optimal? All right, quiet time. Oh my goodness, that throw makes me so nervous. Especially like the way I usually mess up that throw is by throwing early, so I have to like be really composed and make sure I don't toss that bomb early. I have to focus and be like, nope, gotta wait till the timer hits 6 and fades out. I sometimes throw when it hits 6, but not wait for the fade out, and then the bomb explodes me and then I die. So that's not a good way to do that level. You do not want to die in the middle of that level, especially since that's again a long death since it ends up being near the end. Oh, stretching again. Move my hair out of the way. All right, 17-3. Sorry. Quiet the first part because that first jump, like, is scary for some reason for me. Alright. New strategy, stay on that side of the pipe. And that means that this timing works a bit nicer so that that guy never moves and is always right where I want him. There's a faster way to do this level where you get this cloud to spawn before you go to the right side and get the key, but I haven't learned that yet either. Like, I know most of the strategies that I'm missing because I've seen all the ILs for this game, but like, again, it's, do I work on getting consistent at levels that I'm struggling with right now, or do I work on like learning the new strategies and the new time saves that I haven't incorporated? I think I'm getting like more consistent, and so maybe I'll be able to shift more toward like learning time saves, but we'll have to see. Consistency still isn't my biggest strong point, unfortunately. You don't need to learn it? You see it? I have to get a different strategy, dude. Like, I know that you wait on the left side more, but then I have to make sure I'm used to the timing of when the next bomb comes out of the pipe so I don't die to that. That's what I'm afraid of if I just stay on that side of the screen and wait for it. Like, Monkey see, monkey do. Dude, I still want to, like, I would need to learn what the difference is. I kind of know what to do there, but then again, does that affect the pipe? Does that affect what happens next? What do I need to do instead? Like, that's how I work through the game. Is like I want to understand all the different components. Like here, the reason I stand here is because it affects the spawns of those Goombas so that they're not in my way ever. There's always one that lands on the platform. See, here's one that lands on the platform, and the next one lands far enough back that it hits the chain chomp pillar and never comes on. It just simplifies this level. Like, I like to know that type of stuff about this level. And like here, my new strategy is to stand on this spot because that affects this Goomba spawn, and it means that one will drop, but that the next one won't be close enough to me that I have to worry about it as I'm jumping over this gap. Like, that's the type of information that I always want to know for the levels I'm playing. So it probably takes me a bit longer to learn something just because, like, I legitimately think about it as learning a new strategy, but I think it's worked okay for me. Like, I kind of like the way I'm approaching this game. Alright, 17.5. More water. I've never actually run out of water during a stream, which is probably a bad sign. And I only ever set up like one glass of water, and it's like a reasonably large glass of water, but still. Okay, last pillar, this pillar. Oh man, I'm definitely falling back into like, let's just narrate every time I hit the jump button. Yay! I just like, the problem is I just keep looking down at my notes to see what level is coming up next, and I just keep seeing 17.8. Like now it's actually on the screen. It used to be not on the screen, but like, oh, it's so close. And the struggle with that one is if you overthink any of it, like that's what gets me killed. If I do just my strategy, it'll be fine, but I need to stay calm on it. Should start trying like deep breathing exercises now to get my brain back under control. Like, hey, can we not overthink this? Whee. This level's so nice when I do it well. Like, it's just so fast, so clean. Just done with the level. It's actually hard to get the IL though because you have to do some really good jumps, but as long as you don't fall off the side of the conveyors, you're pretty much good to go during your run on this one. My goodness, I seriously keep thinking I'm like in World 18 with how much stress and anxiety I'm feeling. Like, ah. If you think one bomb is a reasonable threat to worry about, I'm small Mario and one bomb kills me. Yes, it's a reasonable threat to worry about, dude. When you're small Mario, anything kills you. Like, I know it's not going to be too crazy to learn, but like, again, it's like it's different. And I'm definitely better at this game when I do the same thing over and over and over again. This is the level I was mentioning earlier where I don't have a super consistent strat, and so I get much more nervous on this level. I play this level worse because I don't have like a same thing that I do every time. Like, I don't always make it to the top section. I don't always make it to the bottom section. It's just, ugh. Once you're past that first part though, like this part's just fine. You just jump into the flagpole. IDK how inclined you are to remain a dominant runner? Why? Because I sound nervous about learning tricks? Dude, I told you I practiced until my thumb hurt yesterday. Come on, dude. Alright, here we go though. 17.8. Deep breath. You're very perfectionistic? Yeah, definitely am. And that was a struggle for me getting into speedrunning, but that's not necessarily the way that any percent works, and I think I had to figure that out before now in order for this to work. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet though. I actually super have to focus. Okay, first part's fine. Go ahead and get a 1-up just because. And quiet again. Okay, just need to get past Bowser. Is he gonna jump? Yes! He didn't jump! I didn't die! This is awesome! I already feel like a winner, even if I don't get a new record. Look at that time save! 3 minutes, 17 seconds. Really, it was just 2.5 minutes on this one level, but specifically it's this one level. Oh my goodness. I can't tell you how relieved that makes me feel. I still have to deal with all of World 18, by the way. Like, I'm not done with this run, but oh my goodness. That went exactly how I practiced it. That's how I've been practicing it this whole time, and it finally worked in the middle of a real run. Oh, okay, I need to get my nerves back under control for 18-1. Probably just gonna die here and lose all that time again, but like, man, that felt good. Oh, deep breaths. Nice calm thoughts. Think about sleeping bunnies. I don't know if sleeping bunnies makes me feel better. Oh, hi Spikes. I don't know if sleeping bunnies makes me feel like calmer or if I just get excited because of how cute bunnies are. Ooh, I've got a fire flower in this section. Usually I don't. This will be interesting. Okay. Oh, I almost jumped right into the lava, which would have been definitely a time loss. Okay. This should be safe. The trick with this part is like, if you have fire flower, you can accidentally release the thwomps early and they will just completely murder you if they get the chance. So while you need fire flower for this section, it can actually sometimes be better to not have it for the section right there, but made it through okay. And then here it's go low because if I go too high, those shells will hit me and I'll take a damage boost and that's half of a second, so. Oh, and then I went high early. I want to go high here so I can get into this pipe. Yay! And done. Whee. You're very perfectionist like a computer? Yeah, like I'm definitely competitive though, and I think that's like, if anything, what will keep me in. Like I'm definitely a very competitive person. I want to do well at things. And I think the perfectionistic side, if I keep it under control, helps, right? Because it gives me this game knowledge. It helps me want to perfect certain movements and want to practice until they're good. So it can be a positive thing. Oh, thanks for all the excitement, everyone. I appreciate you celebrating with me on that. 2:17.8. Okay, this one I also died in like 2-3 times in my record. So I've got a slightly different route that I tend to forget half the time, so hey, that worked. And then I changed up at the end. I now jump on both of these because it was making me nervous to go under the first one and time out the second. So that was also a time save over my record. Like unfortunately at this point, I don't do splits per level, so it's going to be difficult to tell how far ahead or behind I am of my actual record, although clearly at the start of this world I was 3 minutes ahead, which is awesome. But with 18.2, that's at least a 30-second time save, I think. So that's a good thing. All right, 18.3. Time to, okay, Magic Koopas. Do some Magic Koopa action. Really the first room of this is the one that like I was struggling with in practice, because in practice I always got a late drop from the pipe of this boot. And like nicely I got an early one. Okay. Didn't make the first cycle. It's actually like ridiculously hard to get in this door on the first try because you can't be moving left or right or your boot is just constantly up in the air. That's like one of the huge disadvantages of the boot movement. It's like, it's great going across backwards conveyor belts because you never get slowed down by them. But at the same time, on like forward conveyor belts, oh, I lost time there, oh well. You can't speed up, and then again, like with doors, you have to be on the ground holding up in order to enter a door, and you're just almost never on the actual ground when you're in a boot. Boot mechanics are weird. They only show up in a few levels on this game, though. Damn, I'm like so much more focused than normal on this. Just like, oh. Dang it. Okay. Question, I don't think I can damage boost the rest of this, though. I can shortcut this section, but I still have to wait for the... This is unfortunate. This is going to be pretty slow now. I got too nervous about my jump down. That jump down makes me nervous in general, but unfortunate. I have to wait for this though because that's the only way to get this red coin if you make a mistake there with the boot. I do want this mushroom, so I'm going to completely mess up this room, which is fine. That was less messed up than I thought it would be. Oh, now I've got this cycle all wrong. There we go. But thankfully you do get the mushroom back. I had forgotten that you get the mushroom back and that helps. Alright, time lost. This is fine. Just get this jump. Yay! Okay, that room is the one that scares, well, the conveyor room scares me too, but like that room is the one where if I make a mistake, like very easy to die, so. Sorry, I'm like so much quieter right now than normal. Like I'm not talking nearly as much as I normally would. Maybe that's a nice break, but like I'm just so stressed now that like things are going well and I got past 17-8. Like for the last 2 levels, it was just this wave of relief of, oh my goodness, it happened. But now it's like, oh wait, it happened. That means I'm on a really good pace. I want to not lose this pace. Huh, I should try to play well. But of course then I started to make mistakes, so that's fine. Water again. Okay. 18-4. Double Bowser fight incoming. Honestly, there's not so many actual Bowser fights in this game. That was not my strategy there at all. Just kind of sad, like, I don't know, it's like nice because Bowser fights are kind of high fireball pattern, that was mean. Bowser fights are kind of difficult to like do optimally. But at the same time, like, they are kind of a fun way to have technical skill. Right, like, just running and jumping, like there's definitely technicality to it, but the Bowser fights are where like your mechanics come much more into play, so it can be kind of a fun way to like improve. Right, like this section I don't get better at, I just get more consistent at. The Bowser fights I can actually get better at, so kind of a fun difference there. Okay. I can also get worse at them, but you know, ideally better. Dude, I feel like I need to practice button mashing. Man, that was cutting it close. I thought I was gonna be able to get him before he ran into me, but like that was so much closer than I thought it was gonna be. All right. You are doing fine. Don't worry. Everything will be okay. Appreciate it, Plonksy. I'm doing my best. Doing my best. And like realistically, I'm still very, very likely to improve on my time, unless I die twice on 18-7 or something like that. So, you know, it could happen, but fingers crossed. I did practice that one too, so. I legitimately went through and practiced every single level in this game. It was like all day long. But again, I was watching Fall Mania at the same time. Fall Mania was like, Fall Guys is a fun game to watch, but there's definitely downtime between rounds or during some rounds that are just less interesting. Like there's a round where they just match fruits, kind of. It's like a matching game, but it's really straightforward and almost nothing happens to the people in the competition because they're good at the game. So like when that one's on, I can, you know, go through a couple levels, get some practice in, and then when they're doing something exciting like a Fall Mountain or whatnot, I can look up again and see what's happening, or like the end of a hexagon. Like you don't really need to watch the beginning of hexagon, but you definitely want to catch the ending of it. That's like another like really pointless skill, is like getting good at knowing when to look up at a stream to see if something's happening, so that you can like get other stuff done in the meantime. Like that's definitely something I've gotten used to with Twitch for sure. And like with tournaments and stuff where there is that downtime, like being able to practice works out well. A lot of times, like I tend to just want to be on my phone and look at dumb stuff on the internet, but if I remember to put my 3DS next to me, then it's like, I'll remember to practice, and that's honestly, oh, come on, this side, there we go. That's a much better use of my time, where I'm like then getting better at something that I care about getting better at. Okay, now we're gonna do this safely, because I did this not safely in practice and kept dying. So there's the safe pyramid climb. Yay. This level used to be one of my nightmares too. Like I used to die on this level all the time, but thankfully with practice that one's also just gotten much cleaner. Like 18-6 used to be really nerve-wracking and it's not anymore. 18-7 is a bit just because I actually died on that one during a good run once, and so now it's like on my hit list of levels I'm nervous about, but it has nice peaceful water music, I guess. That's a good thing, right? Okay. And you get safety shells, so like that's always good. Oh, a little slow, that's fine. And now we've got a helmet. Woo! It's just like if the wigglers get out of control. Like I'm not as good at recovering. Like one of the disadvantages of having everything so pre-planned is that it's a little bit harder to recover because I don't practice randomness. I don't practice alternate routes. I practice the route that I get really good at, and then that's it. So that's like one of the things that makes me nervous is like if the wigglers get out of control in this level, I don't usually practice it that way, and so I'm less ready for that to happen. I'm like less ready to handle that. But at the same time, like if I do my correct route, then the wigglers shouldn't get out of control and it'll be fine. Hi, bloopers. Dude, there's just such a huge family of bloopers on this level. Like, I love how much Nintendo was just like, you know what, we can make dumb levels too. Why not? You're not the only, creators aren't the only ones with the monopoly on enemy spam in their levels. All right, I want to get to here. Got that one in time. I started getting the 1-up too, again, just because I can. It also gives me something to do, and the more I have something to do, the less likely I am to like overthink other stuff. So getting the 1-up is a new strat. That, again, saves 0 time, but it's nice and you get to hear the 1-up sound. The 1-up sound is like kind of a pretty sound too. It's very cheerful. I don't know if it's like I like the 1-up sound just because I actually think it's a good sound effect, or because I associate it with getting extra lives and that's such a good thing that that association overrides my objective evaluation of the 1-up sound effect. But I do like hearing it. It's nice. It makes me happy. All right, so I want to try to time this POW. Yep, got both of them. Sorry, like you can, if you hit the POW too early, you don't get the second Hammer Brothers. And it's not really a big deal because you've got a Shelmet, but like, it's just nice to have fewer enemies on screen. Like, it's nice to get enemies out of the way. Oh, that was a interesting loop-de-loop. I don't normally go that low on it, but still enough room. Okay, we should be good. Huge family, murder them all with the shell? No, I need my safety shell. We've got an agreement with myself in those bloopers. Like, you don't bother me, I won't bother you. We can all be friends. But as soon as they start trying to hit me, then I start throwing my shell at them. So for now, we're buddies. Okay, last level in the game. Actual final boss. So, I'm trying to like think through the things in my head of like, okay, what am I focusing on? So the first part is just go in the right pipe. Like, that hasn't been as much of a problem lately, but like, especially when I was starting to run, the biggest time loss for me on this level was just not getting the spring after getting the key. So ideally, I don't just lose time to that. Here we go. But this is it. This is the last level in the whole game. Whee! And I've gotten better at it. Like, this is one of those levels that's just had a lot of smaller optimizations that's been pretty fun. Like, I've started throwing the springs specifically so it doesn't bounce on the other springs, which brings things, like, it keeps me from going too high and losing time to, like, just being above the floor for too long. And this section is trying to do this wall jump that I usually mess up and it loses time, but slowly one day I'll get better at it. But that was a good jump out of that section, so like, hey, it made up for it. Now I just need to remember to go back down. Go to the bottom pipe. Get the spring. Time to beat 7 minutes. Yeah, this level takes 3 though, right? Like, this is a long level. Like, both in terms of in-game time. Oh, I was too low on that jump. Oh, come on. Both in terms of like in-game time and in terms of just how many pipe transitions there are. Like, one of the reasons this level is so ridiculously slow is because of how many times you go through pipes and doors and things. Like, it's ridiculous. And each time you go through a pipe, I want to say it's like, I can't remember if it's 1.5 seconds or like flat out 3 seconds. It's ridiculous. So that's one of the reasons this level takes so long, is just how many times you transition from one screen to the next. Alright, the big one here is going to be whether or not, or how many attempts it takes me to get the skip. Like, that's the part for this room. Like, this room itself is just run. And then sometimes I mess up the wall jumps. But it's how fast can I get this skip? Let's see. That was a good room, though. Oh, I'm gonna focus a bit. Nope. Let's try again. Oh, usually if I get the triple jump, I land it. That's okay. Oh, this is pretty bad. Whoa, I'm just hitting left too soon. Okay, let's try it again. Man, usually I get it within 3 tries. There we go. Ah, dang. That was sad. I said normally that one I can get on the 3rd try at least. That was probably one of the worst I've ever done it, even counting like the first time I tried it in a real run. Ugh, it's always sad to like lose time right at the end of a run, but that's okay. We got through the propeller room without making a mistake, so that's pretty good. Bowser Jr. fight, and then it's just on to Bowser. So close. I'm trying not to look at the timer because it's just going to stress me out. Just going to play this like any other 18-8 run. This is fine. Okay. Don't want a propeller here, just want to jump, and then I want to move to the right. That's my way to go. Well, yes! Okay, this is awesome. This is really, really awesome. Oh my god. Okay, so Not only is this obviously my best time ever by like quite a bit, but this is also only 3 deaths, which is ridiculously low. This is something I didn't think I'd get right away. And what makes this even cooler is I've been enormously jealous of Palanxy all week long because he got a run with 3 deaths in it. Unfortunately, and it's so unfortunate, it was unofficial. But I was thinking like, dang, I wish I could get it back. Like, I wish I could get that good. I want to be able to get to that point. So the fact that like today I was able to get down to 3 deaths, like I can't tell you just how exciting it is. Not only that like I got a new record, it's way faster. It's like actually close. Palanxy, I'm not remembering exactly how close it is to your off the top of my head. I don't know if you want to remind me what yours is at, but like this makes me feel good. I've been worried, like I was worried when I saw Palanxy's time that like, oh no, am I not competitive anymore in any percent? But it turns out I am. 4 seconds away from unofficial world record. Okay, so I haven't managed to unify the world records yet, but we're at least on track for that. Oh, dang. Thanks, Toad. Appreciate the GG. Dang. Oh, shoot. Then if I had gotten that one trick, just like 3rd try instead of 6th try, I would have gotten them both again. Ah, oh, so close. This is still really exciting, though. That does mean that, like, I now know. I wasn't sure what I was doing for the rest of today. Like, oh, am I just going to play a video game? Am I going to, like, read a book? Am I just going to chillax? But what this now means is the rest of my day is going to be trying to get these uploaded so that they can be seen by anyone. This is good, though. So apparently exercising before streaming is my new secret weapon, because the 3 times I've done that, all 3 of those I've gotten times under 2 hours. So that's officially my new strategy. But yeah, 150, 330. I'm like tempted to do another run because it hasn't been all that long. Like it's only 2 hours into stream, but like I think I'm too nervous to try another run. Like as soon as I got to 17.8 and then getting 17.8 first try for the first time ever in a run. I don't think I've ever gotten that one deathless. I was just checking my splits. I was like, that better have been a gold for 17. Like, and it is. I wonder by how much. Let me see. Yeah, that was my gold in World 17 by I think like a whole minute. It was a lot. Like yeah, my sum of best segments at the start of the day was 152 something, and now it's down to 150. Like the gold splits were nice today, but World 17 gold split was the big one. You did amazing. Oh, thanks, Palanxy. Oh man, I legitimately have been like anxious all week, being like, oh dang, am I just like not competitive at this record anymore? But I'm really glad. Like, of course, I would have liked to have gotten the unofficial and official world records together, but just this is amazing. Like 3 deaths. For context, my previous best run, you saw the time of 157, but my previous best run was 10 deaths. I have never ever gotten single digit deaths before. So for the first time getting single digits deaths to be literally 3, like sub 5 deaths, not even sub 10, like oh my goodness. I'm feeling so happy right now. This is like definitely goals. Oh my goodness. I'm definitely not done. I'll probably be done with stream today, by the way, after this. So if you don't want to stick around, that's okay. I'll keep the full credits in, so the full credits will be in the upload video. So hi YouTube, good to see you. I don't think anyone actually watches the YouTube videos this far though. If you do, like and leave a comment and subscribe. I've been watching way too many YouTube videos lately, clearly. But I will be back next week. It'll be running any percent again. Hopefully that time I can get just a little bit faster, or at least maybe have the same number of deaths but have faster deaths so that they're not quite as bad. But dang, like as much as what's so stupid about this is as much as I'm excited about like improving the official, world record by 4 minutes, one, like it's not the unofficial world record, so I know it's not quite as exciting as if I gotten that one too. And 2, I'm just still so excited about 17.8. Like I'm just still looking at my reference screen where 17.8 is and being like, oh, I finally beat that. Like that's been more of a demon to me than anything else. And partly that's been why I've had so many struggles with getting low death counts, is just because I keep dying multiple times there. But that was fine. 18.2 was fine. Like some of the levels where normally I'll get stuck in those loops and get multiple deaths were just like A-okay today. World 15 though. Now I'm looking at World 15 because World 15 could use some cleanup. So that'll be a big focus on my practice this week, and it'll be interesting to run against that time where the time save comes in World 15 and then the rest of the game is like, well, he just better be good. Oh. Alright, well, that's gonna be it for me today, but thank you everyone for watching. I'm super excited about this new record. I will try to upload this I'm sorry, Pelonxy, that you have to watch it a second time, but thank you for moderating. I really do appreciate how much work you put into this community. But yeah, so see you all next week. I think, oh yeah, Merry Christmas to everyone too. If you celebrate Christmas, then I hope you have a very awesome Christmas. And even if you can't go home to see your family, I hope you find a way to make it special. But I will see you all back here next week. Bye.